This is why we focus on the choices, and I'll come back to that. We focus on the choices that the defendant has. So we don't say the defendant failed to do this. You say the defendant had these choices available to him, and he chose this one. Always make it a positive choice instead of failure, because saying the defendant did not do that, the defendant failed to, that just simply doesn't resonate in the unconscious mind, which is where your decision making takes place. We always want to focus on fairness. Focus on fairness. The one concept that if you took all the jurors and put them all through focus groups and asked them to describe justice and injustice and all that sort of thing, and what a trial is really all about, and what are you really trying to achieve, the answer is fairness. No one's going to say, no, I don't want a fair verdict. I don't want to deliver a fair verdict. And as far as justice and injustice are concerned, we're not seeking justice, because justice, to say whether this is justice, calls for a philosophical discussion of what is justice. We are trying to correct an injustice. It's all about words. So we try our cases in terms of correcting an injustice and giving the opportunity to the jury to correct an injustice in a case. And so, ladies and gentlemen, who will correct this grave injustice which has been visited upon this plaintiff by the conduct of this defendant? If not you, who? And if not now, when? Injustice. It's all about injustice. You frame your story in positive terms and focus on defendant's actions. Now, and you focus on the plaintiff's reactions. I'm going to get into that more deeply in just a moment. Now, so this is why we reframe the defendant's actions into positive actions and positive choices. So if you have a medical negligence case, you can argue it in terms of you have your expert testify as to all the options that were available in differential diagnosis at getting to the right point, or the options that were available in surgery, non-surgery, or whatever. But you have your expert testify as to, presented with this set of facts, what were the choices available to this defendant doctor. And then you can start with choice A. If he had chosen A, ladies and gentlemen, which is this, we wouldn't be here, because choice A was this. Here's what would have happened if we had done choice A, and this tragedy would not have occurred. He could have chosen B. And what is B, and what would have happened if he had chosen, how's it done, what would have happened? Instead, he chose C. And C is why we're here today. C is what brought about this tragedy. And so the more choices, and it doesn't matter if medical negligence, if it's the designer of a negligently designed product, if it's a driver, it doesn't matter. The more choices you can show that were available to the defendant that would have avoided this tragic outcome, you get to an exacerbation factor. Not punitive damages, but this is where you exacerbate exacerbate damage recovery. So you want to show you want to have your expert testify to as many choices as possible, and then try to get the defendant to agree that I had this choice and this choice and this choice. That's even better. So it's all about choices. But then when you argue it, it's always in terms of the choices that this person made.